Dear students, in this video we will discuss about the measurement of dryness fraction. So, as we have already discussed in our previous lecture about the throttling process, and throttling process is one in which the some fluid is allowed to pass through a restricted passage, and this throttling process is also helpful in determining the quality of steam, or we can say the dryness fraction, because as the steam passes through a restricted passage, it is converted or changed to the superheated steam. So the conversion of wet steam into the superheated steam is helpful to determine the dryness fraction, as the enthalpy remains constant in this process. So here we are taking the throttling calorimeter. So there are two types of calorimeter which are used for determining the dryness fraction. First one we are going to take here is the separating calorimeter. So the principle of operation of this calorimeter is very simple. In this calorimeter, just its name indicates separating calorimeter. So here from the wet steam, we have to separate out the moisture. So if we can separate out the moisture from the wet steam, then we are having separate the moisture as well as dryness fraction, and then we can easily determine the dryness fraction. So suppose if x is the dryness fraction of the wet steam, let capital M is the mass of steam which has been separated out, and small m is the mass of suspended water particles separate out. So when we are knowing the mass of the steam separate out as well as mass of the suspended water particles, then x can be determined by x equal to capital M upon capital M plus small m. This ratio will be called as the dryness fraction of wet steam. Here we can see this is the apparatus used for determining the dryness fraction. So just you can see here, this is the main steam pipe. You can see this is the main steam pipe. So through this pipe, the steam will enter here. Here you can see this is a regulating valve for controlling the flow of the steam. Then steam will pass through this passage and will follow this passage. Here we are using a pressure gauge. This is giving the rate of steam discharge. It is called the gauge for measuring the flow of the steam. Then here you can see this is the portion. You can see here. Here just we are having some separator or some baffle plates. So these baffle plates are used to revert or to reflect back the wet steam. So the from the wet steam, because it is a mixture of the water particles as well as the dry vapor. So this type of perforated cup type of structure is there. So when the wet steam will come here, it will strike with this surface, because the vapor particles which are lighter will be reflected back, and this will move like this. So, what vapor particles will separate out, and the heavier particles, which are the water particles, will move downward and will be collected here. And here you can see there is one inner chamber. This is the inner chamber, and it is having some scale. So, with the help of this scale, the condensed quantity of the water can be measured. So here by simply we are going to separate out the vapor or the dry vapor from the water particle. So when we are able to separate out the vapor from the water particles, then we can easily determine the dryness fraction for the steam with the help of this separating calorimeter. But there is some drawbacks of this separating kilometer is that when the dry vapor separates out, then it also carries some suspended water particles. So the dryness fraction calculated or received by this setup is not fully accurate. So the next setup, which is called like the throttling calorimeter, based on the throttling process, also used to determine the dryness fraction. So here you can see the setup or the equipment for finding out the dryness fraction of the steam. So in this setup, you can see there is a pressure gauge here. Here you can see there is an orifice through which the steam will pass for the throttling, and this is the main valve and the sampling tube is there. So from this section, the wet steam will enter. Here you can also see, here we are using a thermometer for measuring of the temperature, and also we are using a manometer, which is for measuring of the pressure. Now the steam will enter and pass through this passage. So the steam is the wet steam. Steam is the wet steam before throttling. The condition of the steam is wet steam before throttling. When this steam will pass through this section, which is having an orifice. So because when the some fluid is allowed to pass through a restricted passage, it will be throttled. The pressure will decrease, temperature will decrease, entropy will increase, but the enthalpy remains constant. So what happens in this process? The wet steam is converted to the superheated steam here. This is the required condition for the throttling. So here the steam will pass through this orifice. This will be throttled. Its pressure will decrease. But when this steam will reach here, so because it is the superheated steam now, then we can measure its temperature as well as its pressure. After throttling, because in this process, the enthalpy remains constant. So enthalpy before throttling is H1 and enthalpy after throttling is H super 2 because the steam will be now superheated steam. Because the enthalpy remains constant in this process, so we can just equate both the enthalpy. So we can follow this formula H1, which is the enthalpy of the wet steam, so can be written as HF1 plus X1 into HFG1. Here X1 is the dryness fraction of the wet steam in this case. That will be equal to H shift super 2, the enthalpy of the superheated steam, which is after throttling. But H super 2, this can also be written as Hg2 plus Cp T super 2 minus T saturated 2. So this H super 2, which is the enthalpy of the superheated steam, can be written in this form also. Now we will equate these two. So HF1 plus X1 into HFG1 equal to Hg2 plus Cp T super 2 minus T saturated 2. And this can be written in the form of the Laplace fraction x2. So x2 equal to hg2 plus cp t super 2 minus t saturated 2 divided by hfg1. So by the use of this formula, we can calculate dryness fraction of the steam with the help of this throttling calorimeter. So in this process, by the throttling process, we can also determine the dryness fraction of the wet steam. But in this case, it is required that the steam should be superheated. But sometimes steam is slightly superheated. So this is also not accurate for measuring or determining the dryness fraction. So we can say neither the separating calorimeter nor the throttling calorimeter are sufficient to determine the dryness fraction with the full accuracy. So the what is the method used to determine the dryness fraction accurately is to use the combined separating and throttling calorimeter. So here you can see the next setup which is used most commonly to determine the dryness fraction of the steam accurately. So just here we are combining both the calorimeter, separating calorimeter as well as throttling calorimeter. So here you can see this is the pressure gauge and the steam main pipe. So some sample of the wet steam will enter from here Here you can see the steam stop valve to control the flow of the steam. So first part is the separating calorimeter. Steam will enter here in the separating calorimeter. Here the steam will enter again. Here the perforated cup. Here the steam will come and strike the surface. So the dry vapor part, which are lighter, will reflected back, and the heavier particle of the water will come down and will be collected here. So from this collected part, so water part is here, and the steam will come out. Now this steam or the dry vapor, now after passing through this, it will pass through the throttling calorimeter. So here, before passing to the throttling calorimeter, we are using a pressure gauge here, so we can measure the pressure. And this steam, after being separated out from the separating calorimeter, will pass through this throttle valve. So actually here the steam will be throttled. Here the throttling process will occur. Then after throttling, steam will reach here. Here in this chamber, with the help of thermometer, we can measure the temperature, and with the help of this manometer, we can measure the pressure. So it is actually the combined operation of the separating as well as throttling calorimeter. So for both the calorimeters, just we find the dryness fraction. So suppose if the X is the dryness fraction of the steam, then let capital M is the mass of steam coming from the separating calorimeter, and small m is the mass of water separated in the separating calorimeter. So by this formula, we can suppose x1 here, the dryness fraction by the separating calorimeter, means we are taking two dryness fraction. X1 is from the separating calorimeter and x2 is from the throttling calorimeter. So x1 we can find out from this formula, m upon, where m is the capital M upon m plus m. So this will give the dryness fraction from separating calorimeter. Now, suppose X2 is the dryness fraction that is from the throttling calorimeter. So again, we have obtained the formula from the throttling calorimeter. So with this formula, you can write this X2 is the dryness fraction equal to Hg2 plus Cp T super 2 minus T saturated 2 minus HF1 upon HFG1. So by this formula, we can find the dryness fraction from the throttling calorimeter. Then we can find the formula, or we can find the dryness fraction finally. So X is the dryness fraction, which is M into X2 part upon M plus M. So this x2 into m upon m plus m, here this portion is called as the x1. So this x2 into x1. So we can say this x is the final dryness fraction equal to product of x1 into x2. Here x1 is the dryness fraction from the separating calorimeter and x2 is the dryness fraction from the throttling calorimeter. So first, by determining the dryness fraction with the help of the separating calorimeter, and then by the throttling calorimeter. So by using these two setups or equipments combinedly, we are able to find the dryness fraction accurately. Thank you.